Good morning, good evening, and wherever the sun may find you. My name is Walt, and I'm excited because today we have Scott Moon on the show. Good morning.
Good morning. I guess that's tea when you do the little pinky finger.
Yeah, well, we don't judge.
My cup's way too big to do that. It'll break my wrist.
This morning we have Coffee and Concepts on Keystroke Medium, our weekly dive into both caffeine and the things that we use to power up to make us either better writers, better readers, or somewhere in the middle. Today, like I said, I'm super excited because I'm a huge fan, Scott. I love your stuff, especially. The thing that really like runs my motor though is all the mech shorty stuff. I love it. Love it.
I love Shorty. He's badass.
Although we can see a wall of Reaper behind you.
Yeah, no, I love the Reaper covers that Jeff did are so good. But the thing is, I put them all up there. I'm like, I don't have any more wall left.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably take it down and switch it out as new series come in. Like if I get my Shorty series moving, I'll put that up there for a while. I don't know. We'll see.
Right on. And if you can get Guillermo del Toro to direct your Shortyverse, that's a good thing, right?
That would be good. Yeah, I probably wouldn't say no. I really wouldn't. I would go.
Who would you get to play Shorty?
Oh God, that's tough. Let's see. What's the Deadpool guy?
Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Oh,
I actually might. I haven't thought about it until just the other day. I was thinking that what I think he might actually be Shorty, but but I don't know. There's a cast of them.
Excellent.
It would be good.
I really like that series. And the narrator you got for it was perfect. Yeah, absolutely perfect.
It's pretty good.
So what kind of coffee are you drinking?
Today I'm drinking the very exotic Kroger Donut Shop blend.
Right on.
That's what we got, and it's good stuff so far.
Now, are you like a coffee connoisseur, or it's like batteries? You just keep plugging in.
No, I like good coffee. This is just really convenient and easy for me right now, and it's a good solid. We went through a big phase where we weren't doing the Keurig.
Right on.
But I do just because it's easy for me right now. We happen to have one. Somebody gave us one. And it's consistent. I like it where it's kind of good every time. I make it myself. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes like, what was that? What happened? But so I like it.
Right on. Now, do you do any like weird kind of like brewing, like a French press or like a drip over?
Yeah, I'll do French press. So my favorite, if I was going to do it, there's several Black Rifle coffee ones that I've tried, and I like to grind it and then do a French press, and that's about the best way. It's just very time consuming. It just depends. For a while there, I had no coffee machines at all. Somehow they all broke, and so I would prep everything. I'd get up in the morning and I'd have to take my grinder out into the garage, grind the coffee because I would wake up the whole house at 3 a.m. And then I'd come back and then I'd French press it, and that took me like 30 minutes. And when you only got 120 minutes before work, that's a big chunk of it. So I started doing this.
Right on. And what does some of that caffeine power like right now? What's some of the stuff that you've been working on?
Caffeine power. So a couple of things. I've been working on a book for Athon Press. Athon. Everybody knows Athon. So a while back I wrote one and it got submitted to somebody else, but now Brothers in Arms is going to Athon, and it's a military sci-fi. It's World War I. It's basically a battle planet where people are locked into trench warfare. And then book 2 is a fleet action. There's a kind of, the plot's interesting, but I'll get to that some other time. So I'm working on that book because I want to write at least 2 before we launch the first one, just so there's not a big lag because of some schedule difficulty. So I'm working on that. I finished writing. This is a long conversation. I'm sorry.
Hit it. Nope. Do it up.
I've been doing the Rick Bartlett thing. Well, I'll work on a book for a certain amount of time, and then I'll go do family stuff and eat lunch, and then I'll start another project. So I do like 3 or 4 projects a day. So in the morning, I'm doing Athon. Then I finished up an alien invasion book that I've been working on for years.
As you should.
Yeah, but again, I'm gonna write several books before I let any of them out there. I've been working on a cop thriller under a pen name, which is kind of interesting, and then I've been working on Orphan Wars with Jeff. We're gonna do a pretty big series with that. I think it's pretty cool, kind of a Stargate-ish kind of Stargate meets John Wick, because everything I write eventually becomes John Wick. I'm sorry.
Right. I mean, there are some people who will not argue that point. They will just say, give me more, give me more.
A lot of literary anger coming out.
Yeah.
On the page there. What about you? What are you working on?
So much. I got just did some more work on recuts for Tim Taylor for audio, then doing edits and rewrites on the series that I'm doing with Athon. So fantastic. I mean, yeah, it seems like it's going to be a big family. Thanksgiving's going to be huge. We're going to need to bring potluck. It's going to be crazy.
Yep. Good stuff.
And speaking of families and how you always get that one family member who's just like out and loud, and everybody focuses on that one family member, but nobody ever focuses on the side characters. And you're really well known for talking about, like, what's your favorite secondary character on Keystroke Medium? How do you craft like a good supporting cast? Somebody that just doesn't feel thrown in there. They feel like they live in the world and actually add to the story.
So, I mean, I think a lot of those just kind of grow almost out of dialogue, but you'll have, and the reason I say that is because I don't know if they're going to be a strong supporting character until they interact with the primary character. And then like we talked about on Keystroke quite a bit, is that a lot of times that secondary character becomes more interesting to write than the primary character. And I think that's because they grow out of of that story. You know, they grow out of that environment, and they can be interesting. So you have to have a protagonist that's got things to overcome. And then you need to have, well, as far as the supporting cast, a lot of times they're part of the focus for me. Like in my Alien Invasion story, this guy's a trucker, and he's coming across Kansas, and he starts getting a lot of radio chatter, people harassing him about you need to watch the sky, and he's like, come on, you crazy fuckers, can I say that this early in the morning?
Absolutely. You got caffeine, do it.
Right. And but he picks up this hitchhiker, because this other trucker is like, hey, you need to check out, there's this girl that's walking, you need to check on her, because it's not a life, right? But so he meets this person. Well, she's more part of the alien invasion than you're going to realize, of course. But so she's a crucial element to the story, and that becomes a strong supporting cast. And in this particular book, it's a family saga. I've done a couple of ones where like family sagas. So there's three main characters. One of them is David Jackknife Osage. Jackknife's his trucker handle.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. And then his sister Laura, who's a Chicago police officer, and then his brother Charles, who's a software engineer that designs combat first-person shooter games, and he lives in Washington State. And so they all encountered the invasion differently. And so in this case, the supporting cast really is more of a multi-point of view toolkit to deliver. So
it's kind of like what was it? Oh God, what's that that movie with Benicio del Toro? I think it was called Crash or something like that. It was like the car crash from all those different perspectives.
Yeah, you get all the different stuff, and I like that. I like that supporting cast, or like Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan of that. And you have all these characters, and you kind of want them to get together or clash against each other. And so I think that's important. It builds a lot of tension. You're like, oh, if Daenerys would just ever get to Westeros, pulls the story forward. They got to pull.
Right on. Now, how do you balance, like, when you're writing scenes that have to flow in between chapters with these secondary characters, and that something about that character just really resonates with somebody? How do you transition back to the main character so that it doesn't feel like you're just cutting that secondary character off? And on the other side of that, how do you write it so that it does? God, cat hair. Sorry. How do you write that so that it doesn't steal the thunder from the main character?
See, and that can be tricky. The stealing the thunder part's what gets really tricky, but you can't really control it either because some people just have their favorites. Like, trying to think. Like, I really like Arya in Game of Thrones, but I didn't like Sansa so much. And most I didn't like Sansa because she was just a perpetual victim. But at the same time, I was holding out that I was like, eventually she's going to kind of become a badass, and she's going to be probably the scariest person in the book because she's going to develop, because she's learning a lot of really hard, horrible lessons from Cersei and all that. So what I would say is that as far as transitioning between characters, your fundamental story units are important. Like chapter, scene. So you get to the end of a chapter and you got to resolve that chapter with either a question that drives forward or kind of a solution to whatever you did, some resonance. And as long as the chapter feels complete, I think then you can jump to the next character. And a lot of times it's a useful tool because, especially like in epic fiction where you're traveling and you kind of feel like you're just kind of always traveling, you need to break it up so you can tie something off and then jump to another point of view, show a different thing. But I don't know. I guess every character is a little bit different. I think if you're doing each character justice in these multi point of view things, then you're good. But you got to realize that some characters are going to be more popular. And I guess maybe that comes from reader feedback. If you're like 5 books in and you realize nobody likes this one character, maybe they need less time on the page. I don't know.
Either that or a bullet. Sorry.
A 4570. Probably a 4570 is what I would use.
Well, I'm not holding those up to the camera again.
Right. Good call.
Now you mentioned like Arya as one of your favorites from Game of Thrones. If you had a chance to write, kind of focus a story on a secondary character you've encountered, what would you love to write? Like what would be that one character that you say, I got to write a whole book centered around this person? As far
as one of my own or somebody else's,
whatever.
I think probably staying with the alien invasion story. I think there's a National Guard corporal named Travis Young in Invasion Day, which is the first book in the alien invasion, and he was kind of a side character, just needed to be there because they were going to kind of a checkpoint / kind of refugee center. And it was necessary for that. But this guy kind of starts taking more and more personality. So he's going to be probably a big part of book 2, just because he's developed. Because at first it was like some kid basically almost practically out of high school. But then as you realize that he's probably actually been deployed in today's environment, if you've been in the Guard or the reserves, you've probably been around a little bit more than you would have, say, like when I was in high school, because there was nothing going on then. Or college. But so characters I would write more about. Maybe what's the armorer for the John Wick?
Oh yeah, the guy in the second movie.
Yeah. Well, there's always that equipment scene, and I bet you that they could probably have their own little spin-off thing. Just
that would be an excellent way to like do a thriller almost, like Taylor to the assassins, and then somebody starts bumping off the assassins one by one, and he's got to figure out why.
Yeah,
that would be. You don't want to lose your customers that way. That would suck.
That could be interesting. What about you? What do you think is a good one to build out?
I think if I had the choice, and I will definitely wait till you're done drinking that coffee before I say this, because I know it's going to end up all over the keyboard. I would want to do Boba Fett's publicist.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because there was a guy with like 0 screen time, and everybody's got that Mandalorian vibe going. Yeah. Just to be, write a book about the guy that made sure he got work. Mm-hmm. His agent, that would be fantastic.
Oh yeah. Kind of what's the Show Me the Money with Tom Cruise? Oh
yeah. Oh God.
I can't remember it.
No, it's escaping me too. Yeah, with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr. Yeah.
It'll come after we hit stop. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, what do you got floating around right there that people can check out for you?
Right now, I'm doing a couple of. So we just finished up the Reaper series. So book 10 just came out. So the next the Aethon project won't come out for a couple of months, and the next book with Cheney won't come out for a couple of months. And my own stuff, like I've already kind of mentioned, I'm holding on to it because I kind of have that luxury now where I don't have to rush it. I used to like write something like I got to get it out there earning money right now.
Right.
And now I'm like I'm doing a little bit better financially, so I can wait until I'm really impatient. And so I get something done. I'm like, and I fall in love with it. And I'm like, I'm reading back to it. I'm like, oh, everybody's got to see this. And I throw it out there and there's no promotion and it never really latches on. When if I had written like the whole series, I could maybe make it a deeper, richer book and get it in front of people. So, but right now I'm doing promotions on Bayonet Dawn, which is the first book in the SMC Marauders trilogy. And it's only in ebook and paperback. It's 99 cents all of April. I just had a book bub on that one, and it did pretty well. And then Enemy of Man.
How about on that first one, the SMC Marauders book? Quick 30-second elevator pitch.
Okay. Bayonet Dawn is about a family. It's a family saga. A young man named Connolly. Travis Connolly wakes up to find that his two younger siblings, who are twins, have been stolen by aliens. He's extremely impoverished. It's a kind of a futuristic world where there is space travel, but nobody can afford it. So he joins the Starship Marine Corps to get off planet, meets a bunch of fellow soldiers to have adventures with, and searches for and eventually finds his siblings to save the galaxy.
That's fantastic. And that's Bayonet Dawn is on sale for 99 cents all through April.
It is.
And the second book that you were talking about?
The second book is Enemy of Man. That's the Chronicles of Ken Rowland, book 1. It's available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook. I'm trying to get it whisper synced right now. And that's going to be, that's probably my favorite series. I talk about that one a lot. It has the main character, Ken Rowland, who's kind of a rebel outlaw spec ops guy gone off the rails and kind of doing his own thing. Maybe a little bit like the Mandalorian in a way. So
that's fantastic.
And there's some points of view from an alien called Droon, who his race has to terrorize people to affect their metabolism so that when he eats them, he can get, the full nutrient value. And so he basically haunts your nightmares, eats your face, literally, and spits out your bones.
Kind of like some of my jiu-jitsu opponents.
Right. Yeah. It feels a lot. Yeah. It feels a lot like a ground and pound for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And where can people find that?
I've been trying to send everybody to my webpage, scottmoonwriter.com, and everything's on there. You just kind of browse around and take it or leave it.
And if folks want to stalk you on the internet, that's the best place to find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Or you can go to my Facebook page. Is the URL is the Scott Moon Group, but it's the Moon Base. So you'll know it when you get there for sure.
Too easy to find.
Right.
I love it. Uh-huh. I can't thank you enough for coming on here. If I track you down early some Tuesday morning, we can get you to do this again.
I'm probably always good for Tuesday morning because it gave me an excuse to like power drink my coffee, and I'm really like vibrating right now. I'm ready to go get some words.
You can resonate through walls and hopefully still.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Thanks for letting me ramble. By the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ramble anytime. More than welcome. Don't forget, folks, check out Live on Monday night with some guy named Scott.
The dude.
There might be some Josh, might be some Josh and Chuck in there as well as they talk about all factions of fiction in and around your favorite books and properties. Obviously, Coffee and Concept. We have a Facebook user who is saying, "I've got so many Scott Moon books, just never enough time to read them. Keep them coming, though."
I'll throw them out there.
Excellent, especially for the Facebook users. We have Coffee and Concepts Tuesday mornings at 7:30. Storytelling with Josh Gayu, who is doing long form interviews. And you can find that on the Keystroke Medium webpage as well as the YouTube channel. And then, of course, on Thursdays, we have The Writing Journey, where
that show on the internet.
Yeah, that's damn straight. Kaylee and Lauren kidnap, coerce, and otherwise snag literary professionals in and around all facets of writing to give tips and tricks to upcoming authors. Thank you so much, Scott, for coming out. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And thanks everybody for letting us share your morning, share your coffee, and reading, writing, and a little bit more here on Keystroke Medium. And we hit end broadcast and